Welcome to the podcast, Claim Your Excellent Life, with your host, Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, where she helps professional women learn how to be happy. Suzanne will teach you how to do this through building high self-esteem, relaxation and calm, and good, healthy relationships. Tune in every week as Suzanne shares effective strategies to help you claim your excellent life with happiness techniques, self-esteem building exercises, relationship tips, and relaxation information. Make sure to head over to dawningvisions.com to subscribe to the newsletter to receive your keys to happiness, as well as other useful free gifts for you.
In today's episode of Claim Your Excellent Life, we are going to speak about creating an exciting, fulfilling, and interesting life for oneself. You know, we have about 80% of the people here in America who cannot stand their jobs. Totally uninterested in the companies that they work for, and 70% of people who are miserable in their jobs. And therefore, I would think that the majority of my listeners out there would fall inside that demographic, sadly. The sad thing is that we have one life to live. That we know for sure. Of course, there are many people who believe in reincarnation. However, we don't know what we don't know, do we? I had a very sad occurrence with my best friend from college dying at the age of 57 while he was on vacation with his girlfriend, who needed to get away because she just lost her adult son through a drug overdose. It wasn't a total shock to her, but it was certainly a very unhappy time. They go to Florida, Miami, to go on vacation to get away. They're not there for a few hours before he has a seizure on the beach and is rushed to the hospital, where the idiot doctors go and try to put a stent in his heart when he is not even stable. This poor man had been in a lot of pain for a few years, physical. He had had all kinds of digestive, gastrointestinal issues going on, bowel problems. Type 2 diabetes diagnosed a few years ago, and he wasn't doing a damn thing to help himself. By that I mean he was drinking martinis with caramel and chocolate and all other kinds of crap in it, sugar-laden. Loved his gelato and ice cream and couldn't figure out how to keep himself in a better space because he was also emotionally traumatized by his daughter, who he had spoiled her entire life, giving her anything and everything that she wanted. To have her basically disown him, believing that he had done something that he did not, or at least said he did not do. Allowing him to die of a broken heart. This is a man who spent his entire life helping others who cannot help themselves with developmental disabilities, otherwise known as mental retardation, many of them with psychiatric issues as well. A very hard population to work with, and he won many awards. From the city that he worked in, from the state that he worked in, and there was another level too. There were 3 awards that he won one year for the work that he had done in the community for over 20 years. And because he didn't make enough money doing case management work for these people for the state of Massachusetts, he had a second job where he had people with developmental disabilities living with him. He didn't like living alone anyway, so it worked out okay. Dead at 57. Let's contrast this to another gentleman that I know not very well, friend of a friend. Multimillionaire, traveled the world, designing nuclear energy facilities. He was rushed from Bridgeport, Connecticut to Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City, where he was put into medical coma for a month before they did anything with his heart because he was unstable. You know, we live in a really, really fucked up country where the people who do the hard work, taking care of the people who cannot take care of themselves, are screwed over by the system over and over and over again. And yet, part of the issue here was that my friend did not want to take care of himself. He was so depressed and so frustrated with his life. And more than a bit burned out with the work that he had been doing for 39 years. I'd like you to look inside your heart and your soul and to ask yourself, what are the values, what are the attitudes, what are the beliefs that you hold true? What do you find interesting and engaging to be doing with your time here on earth? Because the amount of hours that we put into the work that we do, it's not trivial. Nor should it be the sum total of what you are doing with your life's energy. We need to have this thing called balance. We need to spend time with the people who we love and who love us. We need to be able to do those things that matter, to be present for those when they need us, such as showing up for my mom's last 10 days of her life. Seriously, I wasn't planning on being anywhere near her when she died. However, I was on my way back to the East Coast to work with some hypnosis clients and found myself within seconds of where she was living, actually, right before she died. It was a good thing. Sum total of her life, the way that she had presented it to me the day before she died, was that she had a wonderful time raising her 5 kids in 2 wonderful marriages. Not bad for a woman who had serious mental health issues, and we never knew exactly what mood she was going to be in because she could be laughing one minute and throwing things at you the next. However, that being said, she was highly intelligent. She made sure that I got my education, starting with all my learning disabilities when I didn't talk till the age of 5 with Mrs. Deland, the speech therapist, and Mr. Stoyer, the school speech therapist, teaching me how to talk. I always joke that's why I became a hypnotist, because I never shut up. And that's okay with me, as long as I have things worthy of stating. And I think that this is a very important thing for us human beings to think about. What in the hell are you doing with your life? And does it matter to you? Because if it doesn't matter to you, stop doing it. Are you in a relationship that sucks? Are you with somebody who doesn't allow you to spend time with your friends and family? I've had several clients who didn't realize they were in abusive relationships because this was what was happening to them. I know. It happens so slowly and so subtly that people don't even realize what's happening. I'm going to make a suggestion to you that you figure out what's important to you. Thinking logically, as the Kabbalists say, and go forth and go do it. Because it isn't the amount of money that you have in your bank account that matters. I'll give you an example of that, like right now. At the synagogue that I was going to when I was living in Southern California, a synagogue I really loved because I really loved the cantor there. He was a majorly talented person and a person with a very loving heart, and he loved working with the kids. There was a gentleman there who was a doctor of dental surgery. He had actually worked in the military, I guess. And he was married to a woman who emasculated him every chance she had. Very cold to him. Not exactly sure why. I know that they had a grown son that they didn't have any use for. I don't know what he did that they did not appreciate. But they dissed him every time they opened their mouths around me. And this is a gentleman who basically was coming on to me. Even though I made it really clear that I would never cheat on his wife, who had helped me out a lot, and wanted him to help me out the same way. She was a very caring person to other people, apparently. A very gifted songwriter, actually. And yet, he thought it was okay for him to try to jam his tongue down my throat when I told him that I had been cheated on by my own ex. And I can tell you that because, he told all the people close to us at the time that he was the one who stepped out of the marriage, not me. Even though I was the one who was traveling a lot to get my trainings, to learn what I know how to do. And yet, this person had no boundaries, so I ultimately talked to the cantor and I let him know that he needed to keep an eye on this guy. I didn't give a damn how much money this man had, and he did have a lot of money, living in a gated community that had a really large house with a back house with a sauna in it, a tennis court, a swimming pool, and a jacuzzi. Not a lot of land. However, they were in a gated community in a very rich area. House was worth multiple millions, and the reason he would not get divorced was because he didn't want to lose half of his money to his wife. Total misery. I could give you many, many, many examples. All I have to do is look at Hollywood and how fucked up they are. Watch the Kardashians for 3 days. You'll notice the sad concept that we have here, the people that others look up to get themselves out of their own miseries, in the same way that the soap operas used to do it in the day. If this is the stuff that you're into, then you really do have some questionings to ask yourself, because there's so many interesting people doing so many fascinating things, like Kristen, I can't remember her name, she was a radiologist out of the University of Vermont, who I had the opportunity to meet and to sort of tag along with one of my mentees when we were making a non-medical device for her patients that had become pregnant for pain control because they couldn't afford anesthetics. It was something she asked my mentee to create based on an application he was working on for weight loss. We didn't end up using an application. We ended up using a stress ball, which was a hell of a lot cheaper, actually, and a little mantra and some scent. And it worked wonderfully well. But here is a woman who developed her own non-governmental organization, otherwise known as a nonprofit over here, over in Uganda. And she'd bring students who are interested in international medicine, kids in high school and college, match them up with a bunch of doctors from the University of Vermont. And for 2 weeks, they would do things out in the community studies actually, and educate the poor about breast cancer. That was another thing that was on their mind. And we'd had people from the community, including the gentleman, coming from far and wide on their motorcycles and walking. It didn't matter how far they had to go to get this information they could not get in their own country, from their own people. This is someone who's doing amazing, amazing work. And how about Pascal Mbuto? He has a few non-governmental organizations, one to keep donkeys safe because I use them a lot in the Nairobi area for, well, like we use trucks, move heavy stuff. Children, because it's not safe for children in Nairobi. A lot of poverty there. And the farmers. Make sure that they were able to produce enough food, and he finally developed a for-profit corporation because the wife was worried about retirement. She herself is a obstetrician gynecologist. And he was spending all the money that they were making on his nonprofits. Amazing, amazing people all over the world, but you never really hear about these people. All you hear about are the people who are doing the ridiculous. Being with people who beat up other people, have abusive relationships, do drugs, and die. Because they have so much money they don't know how to be happy. Because they have a hole in their soul. They don't know what loving themselves is all about, so therefore they cannot figure out how to love another person. Because it all starts with you, So, go inside yourself, talk to your soul, talk to your heart, and figure this stuff out. Because until you do so, you'll be among those who are miserable, living empty lives of toil. Anger, resentment, cynicism, and regret. The only way I know to turn that around is to release it all. I only did about a month and a half of not podcasts, but Facebook Lives. My Facebook page, Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, Suzanne, Kellner -Z as in zebra, INCK. Go over there. They're all there. You can learn a lot absolutely for free. There's some really great demos on there too. And go release yourself from all the crap that you're contending with, because you know what? Life is too damn short. We don't know when it's going to end. So you may as well do something of value for yourselves and, of course, for the world in general, because the only thing that really truly matters is a compelling future where you're giving the best that you have to give to the world. Share until it hurts, as the Kabbalists say. And then you'll know actually what true love and fulfillment is all about. As always, I thank you for spending your time with me. Till next time. If you have enjoyed Claim Your Excellent Life, we'd really appreciate it if you go over to iTunes and give it a 5-star review. If you have found Claim Your Excellent Life to be helpful to you, and maybe even life-altering with the information that we have shared here, and to allow us to continue this work, which we really do enjoy doing for you, you can sponsor us. at patreon.com. That's spelled P as in Paul, ATREON as in Nancy.com. Again, that's P as in Paul, AT as in Tom, REON as in Nancy.com, where there's a few different levels of sponsorship that you can choose from to help us to continue doing this work. We thank you for any assistance that you are able to give us.
Thank you for listening to the podcast, Claim Your Excellent Life, with your host, Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, where she helps professional women learn how to be happy. Suzanne teaches you how to do this through building high self-esteem, relaxation and calm, and good, healthy relationships. Tune in every week as Suzanne shares effective strategies to help you claim your excellent life with happiness techniques, self-esteem building exercises, relationship tips, and relaxation information. Make sure to head over to dawningvisions.com to subscribe to the newsletter to receive your keys to happiness, as well as other useful free gifts for you.